NBA free agency has arrived. Teams can talk to their own free agents, but then the full-on frenzy officially starts on Sunday. And one big name out there, Warriors guard Klay Thompson, core member of 4 Golden State titles, 5-time All-Star. He's 34, though, and definitely struggled at times last season. Plus, of course, the Warriors have huge luxury tax concerns. Still, their GM, Mike Dunleavy Jr., doesn't sound ready to cannonball the Splash Brothers.
We want him back. I think we said that all along. Hopefully he'll come back. But as far as like the specifics of discussions and those types of things, I think it's important to keep kind of in-house. And when we figure out a solution to all that, we'll have news for you. To say like a guy like Klay Thompson, who's meant so much to this franchise, to completely strip the emotion away from it, I think that's almost impossible. But, you know, this is a business.
For more on Klay's journey with Golden State, we bring in our front office insider, Bobby Marks, who's on the scene from Brooklyn and joins us now. And Bobby, if Golden State is indeed committed to re-signing Klay, what kind of deal even realistically could they offer him?
Well, I think you're looking at a deal somewhere in the $20 to $25 million range. This is a player that earned $43 million last year with Golden State, and the Warriors have made it clear the goal is to stay competitive, but also balance their budget. Spent $380 million last year on salary and luxury tax to lose in the first round here. And certainly the decision with Klay Thompson and then Chris Paul on June 28th, who's got a non-guaranteed contract. But for the Warriors to have flexibility, it's got to be in that $20 to $25 million range.
Yeah, for the folks at home that are like, how on earth could your cost balloon to almost $400 million? Just Google repeater tax and a picture of Golden State is.
Well, since you brought up the Golden State Warriors, since you brought them up, let's turn our attention to someone that we know is set to hit the free agency market, and that is Klay Thompson. The 4-time champion spent his entire career with Golden State, but he was moved to the bench late in the season for the first time since his rookie year. So Kendrick Perkins, there's so many tax implications, mumbo jumbo here, but do you think the best course of action for the Warriors is to run it back with Klay, who is 34 years old, or to move on?
To move on. I think it's best for both parties, to be honest with you, Malik. A fresh start for Klay Thompson, a fresh start for the Golden State Warriors. I would like Golden State to go get a guy like Jordan Clarkson, or try to get him, right? Get some more offensive firepower, some more youth in the building, and also build and see what Jonathan Kuminga. We saw him take those steps last year. What is he going to do coming off of off-season and the experience that he got from last season? Is he going to continue to grow and build towards an all-star caliber player?
Zach, what do you think here?
Y'all know me. I'm a romantic. I want to see these 3 guys, Steph, Klay, and Draymond, play together forever, running circles around the court. But you know what? Of those 3 players, we know Steph's not going anywhere. Draymond is a pretty unique piece. He doesn't fit everywhere. Klay Thompson fits anywhere. And there would also be something cool about seeing him say, you know what? I want to prove I can make big shots in another place. I can do it anywhere, and see him have a late career sort of swerve. Look, we don't always get what we want romantically. And we saw Dwayne Wade leave Miami and go to Chicago. We've seen these icons move around every once in a while. Of the 3, I think Klay has pathways that could be interesting and kind of cool to watch. So win-win. There's some hard feelings between the Warriors and Klay. I think they need to be mended if he's going to go back.
Bobby, I turn to you. What does that open up for Golden State in their heart?
Yeah, I mean, keep an eye on Chris Paul here. Now, here's where Golden State is right now, $174 million. The luxury tax is $171. That dreaded first apron is $178 million. They're nearing that. Chris Paul's date is June 28th. His contract becomes guaranteed. If Chris Paul comes off, now that goes down to $145 million. Now you have the flexibility to potentially go out and make a trade, the ability to go out and aggregate the contract of Andrew Wiggins. Now, if you put Klay Thompson back in and you put him back over, that goes back up to where you're at the luxury tax.
Right.
So Joe Lacob has been on the record saying, we want to spend a tax. We don't want to be in the apron here. So keep an eye on Chris Paul. That number coming off, that gives them the flexibility to go out and make a trade this offseason.
The question is about Klay Thompson.
Ooh.
He had another down year, at least for his standards, right? With his 3rd lowest scoring average, 2nd worst 3-point shooting of his career. You can see the numbers here. But we are talking about a group that won 4 championships together. So, Ramona, what should the Warriors do with Klay?
I think they will try to hold him, or they will make an attempt to hold him, but I don't know that they will. And they will try to hold him in the sense that he's part of an institution. He's part of the Splash Brothers. I think they will make an offer at some point. Right now, those negotiations are not exactly popping. Okay, they're sort of frozen because the Warriors are being very aggressive, from what I'm told, around the league and trying to upgrade the roster around Steph Curry, around Draymond Green.
Yep.
You know, Jonathan Kuminga is virtually untouchable right now, but name a free agent out there, name a trade target, the Warriors have inquired. They're being very aggressive, trying to build another championship contender. Because if you're going to spend as much money as they're spending, you better not end up in the play-in tournament.
You said this. They're going to be the most expensive. They were the most expensive play-in tournament team we'd ever seen. And that's not exactly.
No, that is not acceptable. And so I think they will come back to Klay Thompson at some point, but they have 5 other things going on right now. And whether or not they come back to him before he finds another home, it remains to be seen.
What do you think, Tim?
Look, I think hold him on this one. This is a tough one. I think a lot of this has to do with what Klay Thompson wants, because I think, to Ramona's point, some players, because of their lifetime contributions to an organization, right, and what they have done, they've earned status to the point where, you know what, you're going to go ahead and you're going to try to keep them in-house. But if Klay Thompson feels like he has an opportunity to go somewhere and be a missing piece on a team that hasn't been able to get over the hump and contend, that's going to be a better opportunity to win than what he's going to get in Golden State if they run this thing back. I don't think, as currently constructed, just running it back is going to give the Golden State Warriors a chance to contend in the remainder of the Steph Curry era, if that's what they do. If they want to jettison off parts and try to get somebody else that's marquee to play next to Steph and make a run at it with the level he's at, that's possible. But I think it's really up to Klay Thompson here, and I think that's where the organization have to have great lines of communication with him.
Right. So if, and it's a big if, this is the end of the road, they will go down as one of the best trios of all time. One of the best trios ever, winning 4 championships together as a group. However, this organization's goal has to be singular. And that singular goal is maximizing the end of Steph Curry's career. So how do they do that, Shanae?
Look, I've been saying that is the priority, and I've also said that this is the natural course of events. Big Perk ain't on the show. He wanted to break it up before it probably was necessary, but these things are already happening. I'm going to be honest. I do think it's you try to sing it. End of the road. I think we've seen Klay Thompson's hand already through social media. I think it's folding.
See, I was going road. Keep going.
No, but
I like that one better.
I know, right? I do think we've seen the hand in the sense that, you know, though it's not an easy thing to remove memories. And I do think that you're seeing that process start. And this was probably by design to respect the process. And he probably wants to respect himself. He's going to have the opportunity to look at a deal. And if he feels like he can do more elsewhere, he can go there. But I do think we've started to see the signs, whereas before we didn't see them.
Well, also, he was better on the bench last year.
Sure. And that's not the role that he sees himself
in. And we look at this too with Klay, where there are other options for him. He may not make as much money. I mean, he's not going to make $43 million.
Right.
Okay. But there are other options and situations. He's got a lot left. He's still a very good shooter. He can still play pretty good defense. Now, is he an elite defender like he used to be? No, but he's still a very good defender.
But what are the options for Golden State? Who makes sense?
Look, name a free agent, name a trade target. They have made calls on them. Okay. They are being very, very aggressive. Okay. Like most of them, Kevin Durant, call on Kevin Durant. Lauri Markkanen, call on Lauri Markkanen. Paul George, call on Paul George. Name somebody out there.
I know it may not be sexy.
They are being very aggressive. Now, can they actually turn anybody? Can they actually bring any of those guys in? I don't know. They tried to get Alex Caruso. He ended up going to Oklahoma City.
The only sexy notion is to our producer Condis, Lauri Markkanen. I think we just witnessed Kristaps Porzingis, the impact that he had as a stretch big on a Celtics team that upped their upside. I think Lauri is going to be a fascinating look too for any team.
But
forward.
Do they even want to trade him?
Yeah, no, they're looking. But they're being aggressive.
Calls that Golden State is making and is going to be over the next several days. Something else that's several days away.
You know, hey, could the Celtics be the next great dynasty? Before we get to that, let's talk about the most recent one. We've seen the Warriors potentially losing a cornerstone franchise piece in Klay Thompson, who's looking for a new deal somewhere, maybe still in the Bay Area. Take us into that situation.
There's nothing tougher for a team, Gary, than walking the fine line between giving a franchise superstar a proper farewell and knowing when to let go. Negotiations between the Golden State Warriors and Klay Thompson have gone nowhere as of late. Warriors do want him back at the right price, but we've seen no progress yet. Klay Thompson is 34 years old. He hasn't been the same since his last knee injury, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where I thought he's one of the best perimeter defenders on the NBA. I understand Warriors' side of things. They want to avoid the second tax apron, and they are facing a tough decision. I also understand Klay's side of it. Potential suitors for Klay might be the Philadelphia 76ers with their ample cap space, also the Orlando Magic. But are Klay's team exceeding what they think of their market? You know, that's a different question. But as of now, Gary, I really think we might be heading to the end of an era in Golden State.
Hello, Dub Nation. We have an important update on Klay Thompson on the Hoop Collective's podcast, which is the ESPN Insiders podcast with Brian Windhorst, Tim Bontemps, and Tim McMahon. Recently, the Warriors offered Klay a 2-year contract. Although exact numbers have not been released, we know that the contract offered is for 2 years. Let's analyze what was said on the podcast and discuss other moves in NBA free agency and how it affects the Warriors. Warriors fans, rumor and trade season is in full swing. We're a week away from the draft, 2 weeks away from free agency, and Summer League and the Olympics are right around the corner. Don't miss anything. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay up to date with everything that happens in the Warriors universe. Let's talk about Klay Thompson. As I mentioned, he was offered a 2-year contract before NBA free agency. We know that this offer is $48 million, that is, $24 million per year. However, before the start of the 2024 calendar year, Klay rejected that offer, wanting more than $24 million. There are reports that he could fetch more than $30 million per year on the open market, with possible offers coming from teams like Orlando, Philadelphia, and San Antonio who have salary cap space. Dallas is also interested, but would need to make some moves to create space. Additionally, the Lakers could be an interesting option, as Klay has roots in Los Angeles and his father played there. Monty Poole reports that Klay wants a contract of at least 3 years. He is eligible to re-sign with the Warriors before becoming an unrestricted free agent on June 30th due to a new league rule that allows teams to negotiate with their own free agents. However, it appears negotiations are facing some hurdles as Klay has unfollowed the Warriors on social media, which could be a negotiating tactic. Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, Klay's longtime teammates, have long, valuable contracts. Steph has a 4-year contract, and Draymond signed for 4 years with a total value of $100 million, considered a discount for being a home player. If Klay sees himself at the same level of importance, he could be seeking a similar contract, perhaps 3 or 4 years for between $25 and $30 million per year. However, this could complicate the Warriors' salary situation. The team is already above the salary cap limit, with $174 million committed, close to the first level of sanction. Gary Payton too opted for a $9 million contract, which is part of that $174 million. Chris Paul's $30 million contract is not guaranteed and is a team option. Klay's contract is also off the books for now. One factor to consider is Kevin Looney's contract, whose value of $8 million becomes guaranteed on June 24th. Depending on when you're watching this situation may already be resolved. Only $3 million is guaranteed, so if he is waived, the Warriors could save $5 million, helping to increase the offer for Klay. Looney has been a faithful Warrior, but his role has diminished with the rise of Trayce Jackson-Davis. Additionally, if Chris Paul is released before June 28th, when his contract becomes guaranteed, the Warriors could save $27 million, giving them more flexibility to re-sign Klay or make other moves. Paul could be interested in other teams like San Antonio, which needs a point guard, or Philadelphia. In the NBA, the movements are intense. Alex Caruso was traded to the Thunder, while Josh Giddey went to the Bulls. The Thunder, which already had one of the best perimeter defenses, became even stronger. Malik Monk, who would have been a great addition to the Warriors, decided to stay with the Kings for 4 years and $78 million. These movements show how heated the market is. In short, the Warriors offered Klay a 2-year deal, but he's looking for something bigger. With the current salary scenario and possible movements, there is still a lot to be decided. But, what do you think? Do you think Klay Thompson is really done with Golden State, or is there a chance the front office will give him what he's looking for? Remember, they didn't think he was worth a 3-year contract before this season and before he performed poorly in crucial games. It's time for the Warriors to consider a risky move. For years, the Warriors played conservatively, re-signing their veteran stars while using draft picks on young prospects. That was the two-timeline strategy championed by owner Joe Lacob. While it brought them victory in the 2022 NBA Finals, it proved inadequate to sustain their dynasty. The upcoming offseason emerges as a critical moment for the Golden State Warriors, ready to reshape the franchise's trajectory. Will they commit to one last attempt at winning the championship, or will they opt for a financial restructuring? Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the front office face a series of daunting choices, leaving fans eager to discover the team's next moves. Expectations surrounding Golden State's future intensify. Before you finish, make sure to subscribe to the channel. After all, as we said before, we are producing Warriors videos almost every day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow on Gold-Blooded News. In conclusion, the future looks uncertain for the Golden State Warriors. With the possibility of losing and adding players to the team and the various trade options available, the Warriors are well positioned to continue to be a force to be reckoned with in the NBA. Stay tuned for more updates on the Warriors, and remember to support by leaving your feedback in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications to know when I will send new news. Thank you for following Gold-Blooded News. A hug, and see you next time.
We're gold-blooded!
Go Dubs!